This film tells the story of a man who suddenly finds himself as the only person left in the world. And things get more interesting with the arrival of a woman than they try to live together to restore the human population. So, how does the full story go? Let's just get into it. The story focuses on a man named Armen. Armen is a journalist who has just started working for a local TV station in Germany. He begins his assignment covering a political meeting, but he fails at his job because he presses the wrong button while recording, causing him to miss important moments he was supposed to capture. When he gets back to the office, Armen gets scolded by his boss for his negligence at work. Armen tries to defend himself, but his boss doesn't want to hear any of his excuses. As if things weren't bad enough, that day Armen is just completely unlucky. After work, Armen goes to a nightclub. Here, you can see how he interacts. He's very awkward, lonely, and isolated, even though he's surrounded by people. Everyone around him is having fun, but Armen just sits there alone, like a small island in a sea of people. There, he accidentally meets a woman. Maybe because he's lonely or something, Armen takes her back to his apartment. When they're about to get intimate, Armen suggests that she brush her teeth first, because he doesn't want to catch any bacteria. Seeing how weird and overly cautious Armen is, instead of understanding, the woman gets mad and just leaves. Once again, Armen ends up alone. The next day, Armen goes back to his very boring routine. Every morning he has to go to work and deal with the crowd. After work, Armen goes to his grandmother's house, who has been sick for a long time. He stays there overnight and interacts with his parents like a normal child and parents would. But even that warm family atmosphere doesn't make him feel any better. His heart still feels empty. In the morning, his father calls Armen, who is making coffee at the time. Armen immediately goes over, and it turns out his grandmother has passed away. With mixed feelings, Armen then goes to his mother's house, who has separated from his father, to tell her the bad news. But when he gets there and sees his mom acting normal, Armen can't bring himself to say it. He just stays silent, then leaves while holding back tears that are about to fall. On his way back to his grandmother's house, Armen stops under a bridge to calm himself down. This kind of quiet is what Armen likes. He just sits there, looking at people partying on a boat from a distance. The music is faint, the lights are flickering, but Armen chooses to be alone in silence. Without realizing it, he falls asleep under the bridge. The next day when he wakes up, Armen sees a car that's been abandoned by its owner. After that, he goes to a mini-market and starts to feel like something is off. The store is completely unattended. There should be a cashier, employees, but it's all empty. While shopping, Armen doesn't see anyone. He walks out and still finds no one. The streets are quiet, shops are open with no one guarding them. Armen decides to go back to his parents' house. But on the way, he stops because there are so many vehicles scattered around, abandoned by their owners. Some have their doors open, some are still running. Armen gets out of the car and sees that the party boat from last night is now completely empty, not a single soul. Starting to panic, Armen quickly returns home to see his father. But when he gets there, the door is tightly locked. After calling out several times with no response, Armen breaks the glass door. He goes inside and searches every corner, and it turns out his parents have also disappeared. The world really has only Armen left alone. Armen continues looking for his father outside the house, but suddenly he finds a dog. At first, Armen wants to take the dog with him, but the dog seems to be leading him inside to show him something. It turns out his grandmother, who has already passed away, is still there and hasn't disappeared like the others. Armen sits there in silence, thinking about what's really going on. He then takes out his phone and notices the signal is suddenly gone, which indicates all electricity has shut down. At the same time, Armen hears the dog in pain. When he checks, for some reason the dog suddenly starts bleeding and eventually dies, as if something attacked it. At first, Armen thinks there might be a cause behind all these strange events. He grabs a rifle, getting ready in case something suddenly attacks him. The next day, Armen cremates his grandmother using a pile of books. As the house starts burning, Armen leaves and goes around the city, hoping to find other people. On the way, Armen is blocked by a toll gate. He gets out and finds many abandoned cars, showing that people disappeared suddenly. There, Armen uses a police car to continue his journey. There's no explanation for what happened, and no clues about how the world ended up like this. While driving, Armen finds a truck carrying several horses, then releases them. Shortly after that, Armen heads into the forest and tries to live there. Here, his life is completely different from before. He spends his time farming, raising livestock, even sewing his own clothes. He has to do everything by himself. Until one day, Armen finds that one of his baby goats has been taken by a wild dog. Annoyed, he immediately chases the dog with his rifle. He keeps going until he reaches the remains of an abandoned city. Armen then stops by a mini-market and takes some food that's still edible. He continues his journey until he finds the dog that took his goat. But just as he's about to shoot it, he suddenly gets attacked and falls into a river, which knocks him unconscious. While Armen is unconscious, someone approaches, and that person also finds the food Armen was carrying. The next day, Armen wakes up still injured. He's confused because he wakes up with a blanket covering him. He then tries to leave the forest and return home. Then he hears the sound of a car and sees it from a distance, and it turns out to be a woman, the same one who covered him with the blanket. In the morning, the woman introduces herself. Her name is Kirsty. Kirsty thinks that all this time, she was the only human left in the world. Unlike Armen, Kirsty's survival skills are much better. She knows how to survive and deal with hunger. Seeing that Armen is hungry, Kirsty doesn't hesitate to cut one of Armen's chickens and cook it. Feeling sorry for him, she also treats his wounds. Then, as night falls, Kirsty chooses to sleep in her car. But in the middle of the night, Kirsty, who seems to want to get intimate, quietly sneaks into Armen's room to sleep beside him. After that, Armen and Kirsty decide to live together and start adapting to this now empty world. They try to build routines, divide tasks, and support each other. After a few days together, Armen starts to develop feelings for her, and Kirsty shows the same. Since they both have feelings, they eventually get intimate on top of a pile of hay. As time goes by, the two of them grow closer and start getting used to the current situation. Even though it's just the two of them, they can do everything together. Their effort and hard work aren't in vain. They manage to do many things, from taking care of animals, farming, even restoring the electricity that had previously gone out. Even though at first they enjoy being together and relying on each other, their relationship doesn't always run smoothly. Kirsty is an independent and strong woman, while Armen is the opposite. Kirsty even thinks that Armen is just taking advantage of her. This eventually leads to an argument, and Kirsty decides to leave Armen right then and there. Since Kirsty left, Armen's life goes back to how it was before, filled with loneliness. But a few days later, Kirsty returns to that place, bringing a large truck. Armen gets into the vehicle to meet her. Kirsty then tells him that she once lived with her boyfriend for 7 years, and she really loved him. She wanted to have a child with him, but he refused. Eventually, Kirsty found out the reason: he was already married and had a son with another woman. Since then, Kirsty's life has been ruined. This time, Kirsty wants to build a new life with Armen. She plans to take him to the south, but Armen seems hesitant to start a new life and isn't able to leave his livestock behind. You can see Kirsty's expression change, as if showing disappointment. After that, they stop for a while at an abandoned mini-market. When Armen comes out, Kirsty turns on the car lights, and the two of them start dancing in front of the car. It's simple, but for the first time in a long time, they truly look like they're enjoying being together. The next morning, they return home, but suddenly their car tire blows out after running over something sharp. Kirsty asks Armen to fix the tire because she's leaving tomorrow. This is where the conflict peaks. Armen hopes they'll stay there, while Kirsty feels frustrated with Armen's passive attitude and his unwillingness to take risks. Kirsty feels that Armen prefers staying in his comfort zone rather than facing new challenges. Even so, Armen still agrees to fix the car. The next day, as Kirsty says her goodbye, Armen suddenly changes his mind and decides to go with her. But when Armen releases all of his livestock, Kirsty seems hesitant to take him along. Because of that, Kirsty decides to leave on her own, while Armen can only watch her go. Kirsty's departure leaves Armen feeling completely broken and lonely. He feels abandoned again, this time by the only person who made him feel alive again. This film highlights how extreme isolation can affect the way someone sees themselves and the world around them. Armen eventually realizes that even though the world around him has changed, his internal struggle with identity and meaning will still remain. In conclusion, In My Room 2018 shows that major external changes don't always solve our internal problems, and that the search for identity and the meaning of life is often a deeply personal journey. The cause of everyone's disappearance remains a mystery, and it's never explained what really happened or whether there are any other humans still alive.